of the league season. We don't know what's going to happen in the other games with Andrés. Who knows if Andrés is going to play tomorrow? I think whatever happens, he's got the recognition not just of our club, but also at Madrid and any other football club. You don't have to be a Barça supporter to know what he's meant for Spanish football, for the national team. Every stadium we go to, whenever he comes on, when he gets on the ball, when he's substituted, he always gets a lovely reaction from the fans. But well, we've got 3 more games after this one, and I'm sure we don't know when his last game for Barça is going to be, whether it's tomorrow or another. It's a significant game tomorrow, but all these games are going to be significant. Zidane has said it's harder to win the league than the Champions League. Do you think winning a double is more noteworthy than winning a Champions League? Depends on each person. They'll have their own opinion. We've said there's a lot of time for coaches. The league is the tournament that shows how you perform throughout the whole year. And it's the best team over the whole season that wins, whereas the Champions League, you can just have an off day. You need to know how to compete. Tomorrow we're playing against a team that knows how to compete better than anybody. But yeah, there's a number of different factors that you need to control. In the Champions League, perhaps it's just a bit of luck, and one stroke of bad luck and you're out of the competition. So the Champions League, perhaps there's more different candidates to win it. That's an influence. In the league, there's really just 2, 3, 4 real teams that can maintain that kind of regularity all season. But really, when it comes down to appraising things, that you tend to think about the ones that you've lost, the ones that you've won. But we certainly appreciate what Madrid have done in reaching the final of the Champions League, but they will also appreciate what we've done in the league and in the cup.
Hola, aquí Carlos Escolán en directo para Marcador de Radio Marca. Teniendo en cuenta que ya habéis ganado la Liga y siempre nos decías que lo del aliciente de acabar invictos para...
You've already won the league, but now there's that target of going the season unbeaten. So is that another attraction?
Ya lo dije en algún momento, los tiempos que corren actualmente, yo sé que ha habido, creo, recordar que ha habido un par de equipos. Una vez dije que... No había...
Well, there have been other teams. I think 2 other teams, Bilbao and Madrid, a long time ago, back in the 30s or the 40s. So it has been done before. But certainly in the modern era, no team has gone unbeaten. And I think it's something I certainly treat as important. It's going to be very difficult. We've still got 4 tricky games to get through.
técnico, de entrenador, ¿entenderías que, por ejemplo, Zidane hiciera un equipo poco habitual, teniendo en cuenta lo que tiene por delante?
Do you think Zidane might play a weaker side because of what he's got ahead? Yeah, what he's got ahead is a final, but that's some time away yet. But what the opponent has to do, that's their problem. I'm going to put the best team out to try to beat them. What they do, I don't know. You don't want to talk about the Guard of Honor. But Zidane was pretty emphatic with what he said. Do you think that this is a decision that should be made by the players, the federation, by the coaches? Look, there's such a lot of stuff being said about this. Perhaps we should have a survey of the entire population of the country to see what people think. I think such a lot of noise and furore is being made about this issue that really doesn't matter at the end of the day. We all know that Barça and Madrid are fierce rivals. Whereas other teams like Deportivo the other day, they're not really a direct rival in the same kind of way as Madrid are to us.
Quería preguntarte sobre Andrés.
Asking about Andrés Iniesta.
Que no va a continuar.
How did you find out that he's not staying next season?
Lo tenías en el plan del futuro. Todos tenemos en el plan.
And I'm sure you've been including this in your plans. Did you try to convince him, speak to him? And how was that conversation? Yeah, he told me. What, a month and a half ago? I didn't try to convince him in any kind of way. We were exchanging some ideas, and it came up that he'd been thinking about this for quite some time. And when somebody tells you, and it's somebody who's been in football for such a long time with such footballing baggage behind him, he's not a youngster that you want to sort of convince and try to make him realize what's correct or wrong. Look, I think Andrés is old enough to make his own decision. He'd been thinking about it for a long time.
No valorando exactamente, sino viendo lo que se le abría por delante,
So looking at what he's got ahead, what he's leaving behind. It wasn't really a conversation of me sort of trying to influence him to stay at all. We both know who we are, where we are. And it was really just a question of trying to understand everything that he was saying to me. The Clásico, the global repercussions of the game.
¿No cree que con todas estas polémicas, todo lo que se ha dicho de alinear la cantera, de alinear...
All the controversy about perhaps playing more young players, using the bench. Do you think that that would take away some of the prestige of the game and his image outside of Spain? I don't know what people have been saying about that, but... I have no doubt that tomorrow we're going to see the very best possible Madrid and the very best possible Barça. It's a very important game for both teams. That's certainly what we think. If there's any controversy that you're mentioning here, well, never mind, because next week there'll be another controversy and people have forgotten about this one and the ball will keep rolling. But no, I expect the two teams to play their strongest sides tomorrow. Asking about the fans, and perhaps there wasn't that much connection in the Camp Nou earlier on. But there have been some very good attendances for the big games. Tomorrow's going to be as intense as any of those games. What can you say about the fans this season and ahead of tomorrow's game? Yeah, I think there's been an upward trend. There were, perhaps early in the season, some quite low attendances. Perhaps there were less tourists. Perhaps the team wasn't playing that well. Perhaps it was the political things happening. You can all interpret things as you will. But as the years gone, attendances seem to have been picking up, and I'm sure tomorrow there's going to be a great turnout from the fans. We know there are for games like this, there always are. We know what a great atmosphere there was in the Bernabeu for the first game. Great game as well, and I'm sure tomorrow we're going to see more of the same. Points don't count for Barça tomorrow, so what are they playing for? Yes, of course, we want to get as many points as we can. We want to stay unbeaten. We don't want them to beat us. We want to beat them. What are Barça playing for in a Clásico? I mean, what kind of question is that? We're playing for a lot. Okay, the championship doesn't hang on this game because we're already the champions. But there's still three very important points. because we know just about the whole repercussions of this for the fans all around the world. And doing the double over Madrid, that would be nice too. So let's try and get that as well.
Mister, aquí, de Bein Sports. ¿Qué sensaciones tiene de cara a la presencia de Andrés Iniesta? Es verdad que falta.
What can you tell us about Andrés Iniesta? Whether he'll play tomorrow? He's had a bit of a calf problem this week, so.
Esperamos que esté.
We hope he's fit. He did part of the training session yesterday. I'm sure he'll do the whole session today. And after training, I'll speak to him and see how he's feeling. That's the most important thing, how he is feeling. If he's feeling good, because he knows better than anybody, and I trust his opinion, then he will play. But it's not the first Clásico he's played in. You know what kind of level you need for these kind of games. You need to be 100%. If you could have chosen at the start of the season between the double or winning the Champions League, what would you have chosen? Ask me at the start of next season. I couldn't answer that, really. Look, coaches, we really value the league. I'm not going to deny that, because that is what reflects how you've done all season. You get some coaches that do well in the Champions League, not so well in the league, and don't make it to the end of the season.
Y no fue suficiente, o no era suficiente en ese momento. Entonces, la liga es la que al final te va diciendo cómo estás, y además la que
it's the league that really counts.
Para no entrar en rachas.
Talking about Sevilla and how they made it to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, but in the league, finishing fifth wasn't good enough.
A veces una circunstancia, solo una.
Sometimes in the Champions League, just one tiny circumstance, bang, you're out of the tournament. That happened to us this year. And sometimes it can be the other way, like you just get a lucky goal at a certain moment of a game and bang, you're into the next round. But both competitions are difficult in their own particular ways. So yeah, we certainly appreciate what Real Madrid and Liverpool have done, and I wish we were there, but we're not. Congratulations from Portugal on the double. He's asking about the two Portuguese players, André Gomes and Nelson Semedo, and whether he thinks they'll be going to the World Cup. Well, I hope they're going. They're regular members of their national team.
Nelson al final, pues bueno, ha estado es el primer año en el que tenía que amoldarse.
It's been Nelson's first year here. He's had to adapt to a very different way of playing. But he's added speed and defensive strength. Important for us in some games. But he's fighting for a position with Sergio Roberto. It's difficult for him, but we're gradually working him into the team. André Gomes, well, sometimes he's played more. He's not playing as much at the moment. He has had a couple of fitness problems, but I hope he'll be going to the World Cup as well. Zidane said there won't be a guard of honor because Barça didn't give them one after winning the Club World Cup. Do you think Barça didn't show enough respect to Madrid or vice versa? I'm not even going to start answering that question. When Barça and Madrid met in the Champions League back in 2008-2009, they haven't played in the Champions League since then. Between the two, they've been in 7 finals. They've not played each other. That's strange. What? Are you blaming me? Are you talking about the hot balls in the drawer or something? I don't know. It's just coincidence that they've not played. I honestly don't have an answer to give you to that. What can I say?
El mismo país hace poco, vamos, el Liverpool ha jugado contra.
Teams from the same country. Liverpool played Man City, didn't they? So I guess it's just it's destiny.
mundo deportivo, una pregunta que se sale un poco del clásico. Robert Fernández acaba contrato.
Robert Fernandez is ending his contract
¿Cómo ha sido tu relación?
at the end of June. Could you perhaps talk about your relationship with him, or would you like him to stay in the position?
Es la persona que contactó conmigo para venir.
He's the person who contacted me to come here.
Sé que sabía su opinión al respecto.
So I knew his opinion. He's one of the people with whom I work most closely here because of our respective positions. I've got a very good relationship with him. I've known him for a long time. I don't know what's going to happen, whether he'll leave the club or what. But for me, he's a very important part of the structure.
Gianluigi Bagnulo, Fox Italia. Solo si ha escuchado las palabras de Suárez sobre Griezmann y si le gusta.
Suárez has spoken about Griezmann. Would you like Griezmann in your team?
Griezmann es un jugador.
Griezmann is a player who plays for a different club.
Respetamos a ese otro club, no.
We shall respect that other club and not make any statements. Someone told me earlier on about what Suarez has said, but I've really got nothing to add. He's a player who plays for Atletico Madrid. Suarez knows something that I don't know.
Hola Ernesto, David Ibáñez de Mediaset Sport. En relación a esto, las palabras que dijo es enorgullece que traigan jugadores de.
He said he was proud the club attracts players of that quality. At Atletico Madrid, they haven't been too happy about that comment. Do you think people should be making comments about players that play for other teams? And do you understand why Atletico feel a bit annoyed at what Mr. Suarez has said? I like to comment on what I say. I think Luis was speaking in a figurative sense. We all have to be very careful with what we say to the press, and especially when other teams are involved. Nobody is taking as read something that isn't decided yet. At this stage of the season, names are always coming up. But these are players that play for other teams. We don't make comments. But sometimes they bug you with questions so much, and then they'll say that, oh, he said that in future, in past, in the plus perfect tense, and they start messing around with your words and making out that you said things that you never really wanted to say. Liverpool are playing the Champions League. Would you like Liverpool to win the Champions League because of the rivalry with Real Madrid? May the best team win. No?
Gracias.
Okay, thank you very much. The team are training at 6 o'clock. You can watch that live on the FC Barcelona website and on Facebook. So we'll look forward to that. All the best. Goodbye.